Peter Rollins, nice to have him on the show. Here's a little Irish jig.
Here we go.
In our tribute of Peter Rollins. But, you know, we also have this other little thing that we do around here. We do this little segment that we call Cripes. And come on, you've got to be kidding me. It's sort of it's Rollins. It's Rollins-ish.
Yeah.
Right? That you're going to have a lament.
Yes.
That you're going to have a gripe, that you're going to have a recognition that things are not yet as they are, that notion of I love you because you're right here and I can't get enough of you, that sort of thing. What a romantic. I mean, people just, they get fooled that this cat's a romantic. I love it. All right, so we like to do a little cripes and a come on and you've got to be kidding me every week as our public lament. And sometimes I don't do them, but sometimes I do. So this week I've come up with 3. One of them, just very simply, it's very local, perhaps. Maybe it's a national thing, I don't know. But our local public radio station.
Yes.
The way they raise money.
This was my cripes for the week.
Was it?
But actually, I would say it's for the public radio listeners. Come on, people, donate already.
It doesn't matter how many people donate. You could call them. I guarantee you, Victoria, you could call them and say to them, I'm going to pay for your entire budget this whole year. Just stop the fund drive.
You think they'd still do it?
I know they would still do it because they're not doing it for the money. They're doing it for the listenership. I've heard the president of that NPR talk about this. They've said, look, the reason we do this is because we want listeners to feel that they're members. It's really not only about the money. They have
it's to
so
make the rest of us who already
money.
contribute to feel like we're a part of something.
Like you're part of something.
Well, that is a bad way to do it.
I'm telling you. I mean, I know this to be true. They would do the fund drives, and this is the thing about fund drives as it goes anyway. This is the thing about them.
I know.
And we're doing it at Solomon's Porch at Church Row. We're going to ask people to contribute. And I know I got it run through my head, but this idea that somehow you're like today. This was a great thing today, and this is what got the cripes out of me. The fund drive's done today. Then the next person says, if you donate, they create a false if-then. There's already a plan.
Always.
They're gonna
it's still gonna be there tomorrow. I know.
All right, so they get the cripes,
and we get the nerd award for going on and on.
Yeah, for griping about public radio on a radio show. On a radio show where I'm about to say, hey, and if you want to contribute to this show, head on over to Doug Padgett Radio.
Radio nerds.
But if you don't, we're going to hold you hostage. But not really. We're just going to. They like fake punch you.
We should do
a
parody of a fund drive.
They fake punch. It's the worst thing. It's like the parent that rears at the kid. You know, like they're never really going to hit you, but it's even worse. They give you the fear that, hey, you know, this stuff could all go away.
Yeah.
Or we could just get corporate sponsorships and have ads like everybody else does. Oh, actually, we do have ads, but we're going to act like it's anyway. Don't even get me going. All right, so the come on goes out to Mark Rubio.
Yes.
All right, so here's the little deal. Mark Rubio is a senator. He's been around, you know. He's the Republican version of Barack Obama. Right? He's been a senator for like a minute. Yeah. Maybe he should be the president.
Yeah.
He's done a lot, right? Okay, so he's that guy.
And then we'll give him the Nobel Peace Prize.
All the critiques, all the critique that they had against Obama having no experience, now they're like, hey, Marco Rubio, you get to be. All right, so Marco Rubio gives the response to the State of the Union. And in the middle of it, he's standing up. He's giving a speech. He apparently has a condition of dry mouthism. Like his mouth goes dry. Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so I'll put it up on the Doug Padgett Facebook page too. His mouth goes dry.
Yeah.
So in the middle of it, he's realizing like my mouth is starting to get dry. So he bends over half out of frame, grabs a water bottle, and takes a little swig of water in the middle of it. Well, this becomes a meme. Across the internet.
Yes.
The drinking.
Yes.
And all the times that he's drinking. So then it starts to pick up, like that becomes a story. So then he starts people start tweeting as his water bottle and they're calling it like Watergate and Zero Dark Thirsty and all this kind of stuff, right? Like sort of making fun of it. So then he tries to have fun with it on a TV show. But here's the clip of what he says about why he, you know, kind of having some fun with it. I'm like, dude, look, I had to take a drink in the middle of my thing, and it was way over there. It was poorly planned and all this. But here's what he says, and here's why he gets the come on because of this.
You tweeted out the water bottle yourself?
Yeah, I needed water. What am I going to do? You know, it happens. God has a funny way of reminding us we're human.
Oh,
really? I needed a drink of water, and you know, it's a funny thing. God has a way of reminding us that we're human.
Wow.
Friggin' Marco Rubio, really? Like, you're like the quarterback that has to praise God that you've worked hard and can throw a touchdown pass. No, it had nothing to do with God reminding you that you were human.
You know that
and I know I've
phrase.
got a serious allergy to this stuff, and I can
I
pick it
know.
out of a crowd of 1,000 when someone
Sniff
says
it from
stuff
a
like this.
mile away.
But
Yeah.
unbelievable,
Well, I
huh?
grew up with listening to that kind of stuff, and it's been a
Unbelievable.
while. The longer I stay out of those kinds of communities, the more shocking I find these kinds of statements. But
Yeah, really. I mean, the way he pitches it is like, well, I mean, I'm Marco Rubio, and
Yeah.
God has to remind me I'm human. Really?
yeah,
You have to be, I mean, at every level of this, right? Invoking God, and
yeah.
really, that's how you got reminded you were human?
yeah,
Like, that it was, it's just that reflexive kind of thing drives me crazy, and it invokes religion. It's just the worst possible
Well, I hate
level.
it when things get spiritualized on that level, because then there's so much of a darker underbelly to it. And
Yeah.
so when your child gets a horrible disease and dies, when all manner of horrible things happen, then is God doing that? Who's
Yeah. Really, you needed a drink of water. You don't have to invoke the holy
Let's
and some
not
philosophy
spiritualize
of
what we
human
don't have to.
failure. Come on, Marco Rubio. Come
All
on.
right.
If you're going to be around for the next 16 years of my life, you're going
I
to
do
have to
not
step
want
it
to
up.
listen to that.
But there are some funny memes about all the drinking
Oh, yeah.
and
I'm
when
gonna
people
check
drink,
those
and
out.
even Boehner during the State of the Union drinking a whole bunch of like there's this whole thing about what is it with these guys and the
Leave the poor guy in his
constant-
dry mouth alone.
and the
I
constant drinking. All right, so you got to be kidding me.
yeah.
Once again this week we are peppered in the news by shootings and killings.
Right.
And the best we
Minivan.
can come up with is background checks and maybe assault rifles.
Yeah, that's it.
Best estimates 100 or 11,000, 15,000 deaths caused by murders by someone else. There's 30,000, 35,000 deaths, but half of those are suicides. So
Yeah.
let's think about those maybe a little differently for this. 10, 15,000 deaths caused in this country.
Yeah.
Less than 1,000 of those by assault rifles. The rest of them by handguns. Really?
And that's all
and
we're
we're
gonna do.
and all we're going to do
I
is
know.
get background checks and assault rifles.
Well-
Really? It's going to look, I'm all for it. Melt them all
Oh,
down.
yeah.
I've said I don't want to
I
act
know.
like there's no reason. Do everything you have to do. But you know what you know what the argument used to be back in the 90s, back in the old days, back when, when hip hop was true? A handgun banned. That's what we were talking, banning handguns.
Yes.
Now we're on to maybe assault rifles if you can.
And you know what I'm reminded
Honestly.
of? Remember that conversation we had right after the horrible shooting, and you had been tweeting with somebody, and
Yeah.
he was saying, I can't remember his name. I apologize. You
Yeah,
may
Jonathan
remember.
Edwards.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
not. But, oh, that
That's
was
his
his
name.
actual name. Oh,
Yes,
jeez, I
that's
missed
his
that.
real name.
Oh, yeah. Oh boy.
Play
okay,
on.
Set that aside. So he was saying now's the time to really hone in.
Pounce.
And you were saying, oh, I don't know if now's the time. I mean, it kind of gives me pause. Like maybe if
Well, now's the time. I'm just saying not in the
Yeah.
middle of that.
I know now is the time, but I'm wondering had there been
Mm-hmm.
more of a push at that time, would it have been better? I
No,
don't know.
because the argument has shifted away from handguns being the problem to assault rifles being the problem. All we got to do is protect our kids. I mean, look,
Yeah.
and this thing is just, the
I know.
killing of the sniper last week.
Yeah.
Like this idea that all you have to do is put the right guns in the hands of highly trained people, and that'll bring an end
And
to
then
this.
everything's gonna be
Really, the
better.
greatest
Yeah.
sniper in the history of the military gets killed by another guy, and then this fella in South Africa this morning, who the Blade Runner guy from the
Yeah.
Olympics who kills his girlfriend. Like, I have a friend that said, "Look, the media is just making a big deal out of this. They just want to make, no, you got to be kidding me. We have to stop this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So is this a bad
constitutional
time
amendment
to
remove the Second Amendment? You
Is-
no longer have the right to bear arms. How about that?
Is this a bad time to confess I have a gun in my house now?
Yes. Get it out of your
I
house.
am. I'm getting it out of my house. My
what, do you-
grandpa
there's a-
gave me a rifle when I was 13, and my parents have had it in their basement for like
Great.
all these years.
Have
now
the
I
end
have
of it plugged. Look,
I
there's
know.
a way you
I'm
do
getting
this.
rid of it. I am.
Why
I'm
don't you
getting
bring over
rid
the
of it.
Why don't you bring over the
But I
candy
feel
cigarettes?
guilty.
Why
I
don't you
feel
bring
like
the
if
candy
Doug
cigarettes and
knew
have the
I had
kids
this-
pretend with their candy
I know,
cigarettes too?
right.
Because that doesn't mean anything. It just,
I'm getting, but I didn't know they still had it. I didn't even know I still had it. And what
What are you, the
was my
Nazis?
grandpa thinking that?
That's where it always
He
goes.
gave a 13-year-old.
All right, there are things in this world that are just not right. Fun
But I have
drives
to
like that,
one
blaming
better
God
thing
for
to
being
say.
thirsty. What?
I learned how to target shoot at Bible camp. That's why I have a rifle.
That encompasses the cripes. Come on, you've got to be kidding me.
Yep.
All together.
That's it right there. I brought it all in. Now,
There are things in this world that make you say, the world just should not be this way. And then there are some things that are right on. There are some things. Thank you, Heather Lynn. Thank you for that. There are some things that are the way they're supposed to be. We don't have to find ourselves trapped in a world where things are not as they are meant to be. There are some things that are just as they should be.
there are.
My friend Dave Mulder.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a friend named Dave Mulder.
I
Isn't
do too.
Isn't that the name of the guy also from the X-Files?
It is. I think so. Mulder.
Jonathan Edwards and Dave Mulder. Not at all the people you think they are on the show today. Dave Mulder has a great salutation in his emails. You know, people put those little
Oh, he
signatures
does?
at the bottom. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And
a
I saw it and I thought,
It's-
right on, Dave Mulder.
What
right
is
on.
it?
Now, I'm not a dog lover. Fair enough.
Okay. You're not an animal lover, period.
Right on to Dave Mulder, though, for saying, wag more, bark less. Isn't that great?
That is great.
What a great notion. Right on, Dave Mulder. Just sending emails out to people about business and things and important things. Wag more, bark less.
Ending with that little bit of goodness for
From
everybody.
Doug Badger Radio. We'll talk to you next week, waggers.